As a soldier and messenger of the Lord of the Galaxies, I say greetings. I'll deliver this disclaimer right now. The purpose of this video is to assist other races in understanding why black humans are offended when cultural appropriation occurs. I'm not purposely making fun of anyone, just relaying the facts of the case for those who don't know them. Now, cultural appropriation is defined as the action of taking something for one's own use, typically without the owner's permission. As many of you now know, I've spent decades in the jazz music idiom. I've been outspoken and most often the only voice of rebellion regarding cultural appropriation by whites since I began performing to uphold the art form of my forefathers. However, whites are not solely to blame for their complete dominance of the music created by blacks in America. For black musicians, such as trumpeter Wynton Marsalis and many others, are assisting or enabling whites to perpetuate their dominance of jazz by hiring and promoting them. In fact, the black race has totally abandoned the art form that they have created and do not care about preserving their own musical history. Although there are numerous black millionaires and billionaires throughout America, black jazz societies, black-owned jazz venues, and black-owned jazz record labels are virtually non-existent or extinct. Black producer Quincy Jones at least operates a jazz television channel, however. Bravo, Quincy. Now, Randall Klein, director of the San Francisco Jazz Festival, often downplays the fact that blacks created jazz in America by stating that jazz draws from musical influences from other regions of the world. Therefore, it's not really created by the black humans of America. Well, he has a right to his utterly stupid opinion, the same as everyone else. Yeah, black humans do not have the right to whine about whites controlling the jazz industry and writing a new historical narrative. For black humans choose not to preserve their own cultural legacy. Let us now probe the original historical narrative for the sake of clarity. Drumming, or the groove concept, began in Africa and continued during black slavery in America. Songs known as spirituals or gospel, sung during work in the cotton fields, was the original jazz music of America. For spirituals incorporated call and response, plus improvisation. After the slaves were freed in 1863, they invented the blues. Black trumpeter W.C. Handy expounded upon the form. Then black guitarist Henry Sloan, Charlie Patton, and Robert Johnson pioneered what became known as the Delta Blues. Many white musicians took notice, and their cultural appropriation began. In the late 1800s, black pianist Ernest Hogan and Scott Joplin invented a style called ragtime. However, white pianist Ben Harney imitated their style and was hailed as the father of ragtime. In 1902, black pianist Jelly Roll Morton expounded upon the ragtime concept and invented what is known today as jazz. However, trumpeter Buddy Bolden was the first known improviser of the genre, a little before Jelly Roll. Trumpeters King Oliver and Louis Armstrong expounded upon the jazz improvisation format of Jelly Roll and Bolden and became stars of the genre. However, a white trumpeter named Bix Beiderbecke copied the style of Oliver and Armstrong and became a superstar of the jazz genre. Duke Ellington and Fletcher Henderson became the founding fathers of big band jazz or swing in the early 1920s. However, white band leader Paul Whiteman was miraculously branded as the king of jazz, and white big band leader Benny Goodman became the king of swing. Black saxophonist Coleman Hawkins had his sound and style mimicked by white saxophonist George Auld, A-U-L-D. Saxophonist Charlie Parker's sound and style was mimicked by Lee Konitz. Saxophonist Lester Young's style and sound was mimicked by Stan Getz, who made a fortune using Lester's sound while Lester died flat broke. Trumpeter Miles Davis had his sound and style mimicked by Chet Baker, who also made a fortune by doing so. Saxophonist John Coltrane's sound and style was mimicked by Michael Brecker, who also made a fortune by doing this. Saxophonist Sonny Rollins had his sound and style mimicked by Steve Grossman. Pioneering organist Jimmy Smith had his style and sound mimicked by Joey DeFrancesco, and smooth jazz pioneer Grover Washington Jr. had his sound and style mimicked by Kenny G, who owns a Learjet through his Appropriation. I could continue for hours, but in closing, cultural arts appropriation is only excused when proper homage or acknowledgement is publicly given to the originators or founders of that art form. However, if the black originators of jazz do not care about their cultural legacy, then subsequent appropriation by another tribe is inevitable indeed. Marsalis.